doctor.
Your heart needs to be strong to keep up. Flora for a strong heart today. Secondhand smoke is a bane of modern society. When non-smokers are exposed to secondhand smoke, it's termed passive smoking. There are two types of secondhand smoke: side stream smoke from the lit end of the cigarette, pipe or cigar, and mainstream smoke exhaled by the smoker. Either way, it's bad for you.
In recent years, South African laws have become quite strict with regards to where you can and where you can't smoke. This is to keep the non-smokers safe. Up to 600,000 people a year die because of the dangers of secondhand smoke. Prof, what are some of the risks and complications of secondhand smoke to non-smokers?
Well, the question of whether innocent bystanders, people near a smoker, get harmed has been a question for a long time, but the first positive evidence came from studies in Japan, where they showed that wives of men that smoke had a higher prevalence of lung cancer, which of course up to that stage was associated predominantly with smokers. And more diseases have been added to that list. In the prenatal period, it's affected with the viability of pregnancies, more abortions take place, underweight babies. In early life, increased respiratory infections. And it's been shown that if a child grows up in a household where they're smokers, their risk of chronic cough is increased and respiratory illnesses are more frequent.
Tell us about the spectrum of damage caused by exposure to secondhand smoke.
Secondhand smoke exposure at different age groups has different effects, but particularly for people who have medical problems, people who have allergic rhinitis, that's nasal problems, people who have conjunctival problems with their eyes, find it very unpleasant. In my area of interest, asthma, asthmatics react very poorly to other people's cigarette smoke, and it can even maintain them in a state of poor control. Of course, there are more serious long-term effects. Pneumonias are more effective. And in studies we've done in the Western Cape here, we found that children who live in homes where the parents smoke have twice the risk of contracting tuberculosis infection. So these are real and not imaginary threats.
Children are greatest at risk when it comes to secondhand smoke damage. This is because they breathe faster than adults and they take in more oxygen in relation to their body weight. Children also have a more immature immune system and all their vital organs are still growing. Sister Jackie, few people actually realize that secondhand smoke affects the ear as well. Tell us more about that.
You can see it so often with babies' nasal and mucosa getting thicker and more mucus being excreted. You can have inner ear infections where there's a thickening of the mucus inside the ear. If you don't treat it, you might find that the next day or even that night there will be pus with mucus or wax on the baby's pillow.
And inner ear infections that go untreated could lead to something more serious and life-threatening, like mastoiditis or meningitis. Are parents doing enough to protect their children from secondhand smoke?
No, I don't think they do, because I don't think that they understand what effect it really has on their children.
What is the way forward, Prof?
I believe we need several approaches to reduce innocent bystanders experiencing the effects of smoking. It is the biggest preventable cause of disease on the earth, including South Africa. We need to enforce the laws that have been made. We have to, as individuals, support those laws. And we need to, rather than witch hunt, at least make our contribution to making people aware that we do not want them smoking in our presence and in the presence of our children and families. That is our right, but it's also our civil duty to protect others from the effects of cigarette smoking.
Young people exposed to secondhand smoke at home are twice as likely to start a smoking habit. Creating a smoke-free home can help stop the cycle of new smokers among family and friends.
Studies have shown that residual particles from secondhand smoke can actually settle into dust and on surfaces, lasting for months. In one specific study, they showed that if somebody smoked in a room with the door closed, it took up to 2 hours in order for the air levels to become safe again. If you want to protect your loved ones from the harmful effects of secondhand smoke, it's best to keep a smoke-free environment. Shockingly, the home and the workplace has been touted as the highest areas of secondhand smoke particles. If you don't want to find yourself in a coffin room one day, it's best to keep yourself away from this bad habit.
Don't suffer the consequences of someone else's bad habit and be a passive smoker. Defend your right to clean air and good health. Your heart needs to be strong to keep up. Flora, for a strong heart today.
I want to live the best life.